just like I had seen 2 or 3 days ago, that was black and had moved away from the house. I said, that's what I'm seeing, and I grabbed the laser and I shined it around the thing. I didn't see any beam deviation. Then I shined the laser light on the craft to see if I could get it, see if it would light up the surface of the craft. And I shined it all over this thing. And then I realized, I was like, how dangerous this is? These guys.
I was going to say, hey, Ronnie, do you realize just even shining a high-powered laser on a UFO spacecraft, right? They could really take that as hostility, and next thing you know, you're just like a little bit of smoke where you were standing.
Yeah, 2 piles of ashes in this guy's backyard, and then I felt when I was shining it on the craft, I didn't feel so scared for shining it around the craft, checking for beam deviation. But when I put the laser on the craft, I kind of felt like they might respond, and I thought, oh man, this is, we may not be here to, we may not. It was scary, and I was kind of scared doing it. And then I looked over at my friend now, and I just assumed that he had the camera running the whole time, was catching all of this. Well, he was standing there just gawking at the thing, and he had never seen a UFO before in his whole life, and he was just sitting there with his mouth wide open, and the camera's within like an arm's reach of him, and he never even thought to grab the camera and record anything.
Well, but you know what? I mean, I was in a situation back in 2002 with a friend of mine. We were out, taking pictures up in the Canadian Rockies, and then we ran into something that scared the you-know-what out of us, and we had to run 2 miles back to the car through the woods, and we were out in the middle of nowhere. Did I think of even turning around and snapping one picture, which would have made me famous? No. I mean, the only thing I thought about was getting back into the car. So, I mean, how many people, if you see a UFO, are going to sit there, I'm going to take pictures of this UFO? I mean, the 99.9% of the people are going to freak out and not even think about taking a picture. So your friend just did what most people would do. He was kind of like in shock.
Yeah, he was. He was just, his mouth was just wide open. He was staring at it going, what do you think it is? I'm going, it's a UFO, man. I was going, get the camera. Why ain't you filming this, man? And so we both run for the camera. And I had the camera because it was my camera and I could operate it quicker. And I was getting it before the display screen even come on. All 4 lights just blinked out, and that's what I've noticed they do. When they go, they just blink out. They go dark, and you can't see anything. You don't know if they're there, if they're gone, but they just blink completely out.
Well, that sounds like my case in the desert. I mean, the lights were real bright. 1 second, then like next second, it was just nothing. It was like gone. Instantly.
Right. But the great thing was, for the first time, I had somebody that actually seen something other than me, and I had somebody I could talk to. I had somebody that would believe me, and that felt good because every time I had seen something, I was out in the middle of nowhere by myself in rural Texas, and so finally I had a confidant that I could confide into that would believe me, that would give me a shadow of a doubt that I'm telling the truth when I'm saying I'm seeing this stuff.
Now, I got to ask you a question. Now, was he married?
No, he was. He pretty much lives by himself. He has some girlfriends, but he's one of those guys. He would never take a wife. He was just.
Well, that's not what I'm getting at. I mean, most people, if they're married and they go in their house, right, and tell their wife, guess what? I just saw a UFO, and I think I should report it to MUFON or to, one of the reporting centers, right? The wife is going to tell you, don't do it. You're going to wreck, I mean, that's what happens. So, I mean, that's why I was asking.
Right. No, he was just like one of those bachelor guys. He was a bachelor his whole life, and he just, I don't know. I think he kind of hated women. He seen me get divorced enough times that he just didn't want any part of that. He could learn from my lessons when I couldn't, I guess.
Well, you know what? If you would have been abducted, or they would have going to abduct just one of you, You could just point out to your friend and say, well, he's not married. He doesn't have no family. He hasn't been married. I've been married numerous times. I might have all these kids running around. You don't want to take me because I have to support them. You take him. He has nobody.
Right. But like I said, this thing disappeared, and I had no idea what was fixing to happen the next night. This is where the story gets really strange.
Okay, now, okay, it's going to get strange here. People, what I need you to do now is, find a comfortable place to sit your butt down to, pour yourself a nice glass of lemonade or iced tea, or even a beer, and let's find out what happened the next night. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Oh my God, Gary, it goes on to the point where it just, it's almost unimaginable, some of the stuff that happens later on. And, but what happened that next night was I came home from work, and I come in the house, and I have this Mancoon house cat, and he's declawed, and that's the only pet I have in the house. And I come home, and he's missing. And I go into my spare bedroom, my spare bathroom. It's a bathroom where his litter box is in there, and that's about it. And I have 3 bathrooms in my house, and at this time I'm a bachelor living alone in my house by myself. I have a girlfriend over in Easton, and she has kids, but she's going to college, getting her degree, and she's got student loans. So we have plans for the future, but right now we have to be apart, so it don't mess everything up. So I'm living here by myself, and just me and my cat. So I come home, and in the hole, there's a hole in the floor of that bathroom, and it's a pretty good size hole. And I'm like, how in the world did that cat chew a hole in the floor? And he's missing it. And I look down in the hole, and I call him, and I can hear him meowing up underneath there. And then I stick my arm down in there, trying to grab him and say, "Come on, come here." And I can hear him meowing, and I never feel him or anything. And I pull my arm back out, and then the lights from the bathroom were shining off down there, and I see some of the scariest looking eyes looking up from the hole, through the hole in the floor at me. And it occurred to me that there's no telling what's in there, and I was probably really stupid for sticking my arm in there. There's no telling what's under there, so. Yeah,
well, don't you have a lot of snakes where you live?
Yeah, we have rattlesnakes and copperheads and all sorts of stuff, and and I have to go up underneath the house and do maintenance and stuff, and it's a crawl space up underneath there. I mean, you can't even crawl on your knees. You have to kind of crawl on your belly to get around, and there's big concrete struts underneath there that your house sits on and stuff. So
well, I'll tell you, you're braver than I am, because I'll tell you something. I would never put my hands into something I can't see, especially where you live. I mean, I just think about all those creepy spiders and those poisonous snakes, and copperhead is. I think, aren't they one of the more deadliest rattlesnakes?
Oh yeah. It's not that I'm really brave, Gary. It's just that I'm poor. I have to do my own plumbing. I have to do my own work. So I have to crawl up underneath there and do plumbing repairs and stuff like that. And I know how to do it. So instead of having to pay somebody a bunch of money to do it, I just do it myself. And that's what my dad raised me to do our own work. So I'm a little bit of electrician, a little bit of a plumber, and I can just about do anything. I can't do anything real well, but I can do lots of things.
Well, I can too. You give me a tube of super glue, or you give me some duct tape, and I can do the plumbing. I can repair, whole kinds of stuff with the super glue. I can even become a temporary dentist with the super glue. Hey, I mean, I'm all set.
Oh yeah, and if you don't know how to do it, just get on YouTube and they'll show you how to do it. That's how I fix my vehicle sometimes. Is I know what's broken on it, and I get to go to YouTube, and the YouTube shows me how to fix it. So.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one thing. Every time I have something break down, that's what I do. I live on YouTube. I mean, even some of my studio equipment, and I've been in broadcasting, since 1976. I mean, I was a licensed amateur when I was 12, and CBer when I was 10. I mean, and I used to design computers, but then some of this new stuff is just way beyond. I'm an old fart, I'm 66. So, I mean, I get confused on some of the new stuff. So YouTube has saved my life, along with duct tape. You don't know how many rolls a year of duct tape I use. I think my daughter's car is actually put together with duct tape.
Wow. Okay. But anyway, I got to get my cat up from under this house. So I go outside to the access panel. It goes underneath the house. I notice that it's pulled out a little bit, like something has messed with it. And I'm afraid that he might have got out because it's not sealed like it's supposed to be. And I called him, and I heard him underneath there, and he come running out. So I blocked it back up like it's supposed to be. I got some metal from outside, and I put it over the hole in the floor. And I'm still trying to figure out how, a declawed cat made this huge hole in the wooden floor. And so it's I had the laser. I went outside and I fired the laser around to see, because it occurred to me that maybe the laser, I was firing the laser around the sky. Maybe they had attracted them. Maybe they're curious enough that it actually attracted the craft. So I went outside and fired the laser around, and I didn't see anything. So I came back in, and so it was time to go to bed.
Well, how big a hole was it? I mean, how big around a hole was it?
It was big enough that I could get my arm in it all the way to the shoulder. I could get my arm in there all the way. It's big enough that a cat could get through it really easy. And so it was a pretty good sized hole, and it was a complete mystery as to how my cat could have done that. And I was kind of frustrated at him for doing it, or I assumed he did it, but I can't guarantee that he did it. But what happened later was it came time to go to bed. So, and like I said, I'm a bachelor living in my house, so I kind of sleep in the bed backwards because I like my head being away from the light in the bathroom. I like to leave the light in the bathroom on. That way, if I need to go to the bathroom, I can get up and see where I'm going. I leave the light on in the kitchen so I can make my way through the house and get a drink of water at night if I get thirsty. So I leave enough lights on in the house that my house isn't completely dark. You can kind of see to get around. And so I lay down in the bed, and as soon as I lay down in that bed, I heard something breaking in the kitchen. And I thought, man, this cat is really on my nerves tonight. So I tried to get up and go in there and see what is going on. And I realized all of a sudden that something has me pinned in this bed. I mean, it was like the harder I try to get up, the more force it uses to keep me in place. And there's nothing physically that you can see restraining me, but it was almost, it's more like the brain signal between my brain and my muscles is interrupted. And it was like the harder you fight it, the more they use. And if you fight it really hard, it starts affecting your heart and your breathing. And I thought, man, what is going on? I'm stuck in this bed, and I heard something break again. And I look out the door, and I can see my cat, and he's standing in the doorway, and he's looking back towards the kitchen like he's something that's in the house freaking him out. And then he retreats into the bedroom with me and jumps up on the bed. And so at this point, I'm still I keep fighting it, thinking, man, am I having a heart attack? Is there something medically wrong with me? I'm wide awake and frustrated that I'm stuck in this bed, and the cat is moving around on this bed like there's no problem. He has no problem moving around on it at all. And it feels like I got 400 pounds of bricks sitting on me. And I cannot move. I'm just sitting there, and my head is turned where I can look through the doorway. The cat's retreated in there and jumping on the bed, and he can move around the bed. And all of a sudden, I hear some more stuff breaking in the kitchen. I can hear cabinets opening. I can hear drawers opening. There's something going on in my house at this point, and there's no doubt about it. I have no idea what's going on. And then all of a sudden, I see a streak go by. It's like something just flying across the floor. And I've never seen anything move this fast. And like, I'm an old trapper from way back, and I've been, I've trapped raccoons and ringtails and all sorts of stuff, and I've known every kind of animal around here, and I've had squirrels get into my house, and I have leather gloves that I actually catch them with. And I thought, well, maybe squirrel has gotten into the house. But like I said, this thing moves so quick that I was like, there's no way that's a squirrel, man. And then I could hear some drawers and stuff opening in the living room now. And the living room is right outside my bedroom. And I'm going, man, whatever it is close now. And I still can't figure out why I'm stuck in this bed. And I look over there, and I see this thing run up the side of the wall. It's like a giant. I don't know. This thing it's got to be about 18 inches high, and it moves very quick, and it run up my vertical wall and across it horizontally. And I thought,